Good morning, MS! I don't like that. I'm Cliff. This is Life with MS. Let's get into it. Optic neuritis, what is it and what's being done about it? But I have to say first that optic neuritis is one of the first noticeable symptoms for a lot of people when they discover they have MS. But what is optic neuritis? Well, it's basically your eye nerves shorting out and sending or not sending nerve signals to your brain, and that makes all kinds of like weird artifacts in your eyes or one eye. Usually in my eye, it's this particular eye, and it's super annoying. And it has gotten progressively worse over time. Sometimes it flashes, sometimes there's little floaters, sometimes things change color. Sometimes this eye, actually most of the time, is not nearly as bright in receiving light on the outside as this one. So if I close this eye, everything looks pretty bright, like the lights in the studio here. And then if I close this other eye, it dims down, and if you could talk about it like a camera, like it's probably an f-stop or maybe 2, so it's noticeable. And perhaps because it's directly in your eye, it's one of the reasons we see it as a first symptom in multiple sclerosis. No pun intended, or maybe there is a pun intended there. Regardless, it's a condition that affects daily life with MS. Well, there is a study, several actually, that are going on in optic neuritis right now, and one that was started several years ago and I think is now in phase 3 and will complete by 2026. And I wanted to talk about it because I was doing some research on it and I found it really interesting. Basically, the concept is they're taking an over-the-counter antihistamine, which you would take for allergies, and what they have found is it has reduced demyelination in the eye. It was a small study. It wasn't that many people. I'm going to link it in the description below. It's been put on by the University of California in San Francisco, and it's going to wrap up in 2026. Briefly, I will summarize it for you the best that I can without getting into the nerd terms. All right, so I'm going to explain this in very simplified terms so we don't spend an hour getting into the nerd work of it. Imagine the nerves in your eyes are like wires with insulation. Now, the insulation is the myelin sheath, which is what MS attacks. In an optic neuritis, that insulation gets damaged, just like the rest of your body with MS. And it's more noticeable in your eye because it's causing visual problems. Floaters, flashing, all kinds of like really cool glittery things. At least for me, I think it's a little bit different than most people, but a lot of people say like these little shadowy floater things are pretty normal. This particular study tested the common allergy medication clemistine, clemistine, however you want to say it, clemistine, tomato, potato, and how it's being done is they're giving people with recent optic neuritis, that is damaged nerve insulation in the eye, clemistine. They're using special eye tests and brain scans, MRIs, to see if the insulation is being repaired. They're also checking to see if the clemistine, potato, tomato is causing any other issues and negative side effects. And the people in the study will continue their regular MS medications, but can't be on any other drug trials at the same time. So why are they doing it? Well, researchers looked at a bunch of different medications to see where they could possibly help with MS. And clemistine seemed to help repair insulation in lab tests. And of course, since it worked in a lab, they wanted to try it on people too. So they put this study together. Now, this study is a follow-up of a previous study and is part of a larger effort to find ways to repair damaged nerve insulation in people with MS. In simple terms, they're trying to see if an allergy pill can help fix damaged wires, myelination, in the eyes of people with optic neuritis, and they're using advanced technology to see if it works. And again, like I said, I have linked it below, and that will be very interesting to see what actually happens. I'm excited about this because if it works, then we will have a way to get rid of the visual floaters, and I actually might get some of my right eye vision back, the acuity of it. It's there, it's just not as good as this one. Man, that would be awesome. So this is exciting. 2026. It might be a total flop. But as we know, and as a famous person once said, I think it was Thomas Edison, I found 10,000 ways not to do something and finally found the one way it actually worked. So look at the bright side. We only have 9,999 other studies to do before we hit pay dirt. Awesome! This is cool. No, this is just an MS update. I'm excited about this stuff. Also, I wanted to make one other brief observation, which I found really weird, and I might do a whole nother video on this, but I'm going to throw this in at the end here. As you may or may not know, I have stopped my Kesimpta DMT. as of about 2.5 months ago because I was having nasty respiratory infections. And you're probably like, oh, Cliff, why are you saying this again? We know all about this. But this is really weird. I have no idea if it's related or not. But since I started my DMTs in 2018, the facial hair I usually have was growing very unevenly. I used to have this big patch right here, and then nothing else would grow in. Well, so I started to notice a lot of even hair distribution on my face again. Now, I can't do anything about my head, but I don't think that has anything to do with the drugs. Well, look at that. It is actually starting, you can see it starting to fill in again, where this is the side that was pretty much not growing any hair, and this was always growing hair, and I cut myself shaving. Oh, look at that. Sorry about that, folks. But it looks like the hair is growing back evenly again. How very, very strange. And I thought, well, maybe I'll do like a research project where I'll see if I'm laying on this side more than this side, or this is getting more blood flow or something. I don't have any idea what's going on there. Also, I did have a problematic molar removed on this side. Maybe that increased blood flow across. Who knows? But it's coming back in evenly, which I like, because the reason I was shaving so much before is because my hair was blotchy all over the place and it just looked kind of weird. But it looks like it's coming back. I don't know, too soon to tell. Have you experienced anything like that? And it could be anything from the top of your head to the front of your face to the hair on your butt. I don't know. If you want to share below, that would be awesome, because we don't know all the side effects of the stuff we're doing, and we're not all on the same things, but maybe we have some commonalities there, and maybe we can find some solutions. Anyway, thank you so much for joining today. I hope you find the study below informational, and I hope I will see you again with better vision if this study actually works out. Isn't that fun? My name is Cliff. This is Life with MS. And if you don't mind, and if you found this valuable, please like, share, and subscribe below, because I do like to update a lot and talk about stuff the MS community cares about. And until next time, I am out.